Welcome back. We're here to cover the Divine Masculine update. And I did record these earlier, but I had to come back and re-record them because there's no audio connected. And I find this quite divinely guided because I was most recently dealing with a divine feminine. And for those of you that don't know, I am your host. My name is Yildiz from Yildiz Readings. I am a psychic medium as well as a twin flame. And I'm here to give you your messages for the current energy and any tips and tricks I feel as a twin flame I may share with you along your path. So if you are new to the channel, a very warm welcome. Now, traditionally speaking, what we are going to do when I'm getting these cards ready, because everything went pear-shaped, is we are going to set our chuck me on screen. Generally speaking, I do have the cards up. I may go back to this at a point, but I have been quite busy working 2 jobs, so that's the reason I have used the images for the direct readings, tuning into them on the day and seeing what's coming up and putting them on screen, which is a lot less prep, although I do know people tend to prefer me being on screen. Okay, now one of the messages I was getting psychically was, especially in the mix of the energy from September, as I do cover the energy of astrology, is that a lot of us feel as though we can't see the hay for the clouds. So we're trying to come out of this kind of fogginess. We do now have Neptune in the house of Aries. We did move through the eclipse seasons for the retrogrades. We had Venus and Mercury retrograde. And interestingly enough, they were in 2 zodiac signs. So it is like we are dealing with the past and the present, and then the past and the present, and kind of moving back and forward. And this directly is impacting your journeys, okay? Especially from a spiritual point of view, linking to Pisces and Neptune, okay? Then we had Mars in 2 signs. And Mars does directly relate to divine masculine and their frequency, as well as your inner masculine, divine feminines. That now is sitting in the house of Leo, which can give us now, I would say, a lot of ego, but also initially I feel we may feel as though we know where we're going and may change our, I wouldn't say change our mind, have some revelations. So that we're yet to receive total revelations and moving forward. And I feel in the first 2 weeks, which is where we're at, we're going to have that context, and we're going to have a deeper understanding of how to approach any hurdles we have, how to actually deal with them and get out of it. Now, what I'm picking up is these individuals at the moment can feel very foggy. They can feel almost confused by their realities, disillusioned by some circumstances, and really going over old ground and saying, okay, what directly do I need to change in my life? You know, where am I maybe feeling quite like isolating myself, feeling as though my aura and my energy, all it very much is eat, pray, repeat. And they're kind of getting to a space spiritually where they're feeling the equilibrium, the balance of that function is out of sync. They have been, for some, it could have been there was a financial entanglement, and that was something that was really causing conflict. It also could be, like I said, all they've been doing is eat, pray, repeat, working very hard. And many of us really had no energy. A lot of that has started to come back online now that we have planets direct. However, we are in that recovery. It's almost like if you do calculate the time frame that we had retrogrades, it was from September last year. So I'm really not surprised if many of us, including divine masculine, are feeling extremely tired and feeling as though, okay, where are my value systems at? I'm just paying attention to this, going through the motions like a rat in a cage. There have been some feelings of insecurities and jealousy cropping up. This is something that is going to the wayside. It is also something that they're tuning into and saying, okay, well, if I'm having that feeling and if I have been effectively in lack mentality, how can I get out of that funk and actually focus on what I do directly have control over? And what is this emotion directly showing me? And I feel them for those that have been in communication, there might have been some cross wires. There could have been due to the jealousies and insecurities that maybe came up between the joint connection. There might have been a conversation piece that does end up coming to a head, but I feel as though there's something that is giving them some sense of hope. It's almost like that signature is giving them hope that the connection is still there. And it could just be a vibration and feeling that is rising back through them all of a sudden, having this revelation, hey, I really care about my counterpart. There can be some people at the moment that are really controlling them, and it is causing some angst. It's causing them to feel as though they need some space, especially from controlling individuals that are quite manipulative in nature. And they may need to really put their foot down with this. And this can be a spiritual karmic kind of wrap. It's almost like part of the cycle that they were maybe forced to address is to physically create a boundary with somebody, or it could be people, places, things, career. But there is a physical boundary that they directly are putting up and saying, hey, enough is enough. You know, this can't go on any longer. This is impacting me. This could be an ex or a current karmic partner. We do cover the karmic third-party energy. So if you haven't looked at that, make sure to actually view that. So I feel as though that conflict, they're being very wary. They're being very cautious. They could be kind of keeping things to themselves, even though they're aware of it. But they do feel that also something can be coming towards them in a sense of gossip, and it can be giving them some information about a person that maybe has been shady around them. And this also can add a different layer to the circumstance that they're dealing with. They're realizing the people that they can and can't trust in their life, especially surrounding tribe and family, especially surrounding, I would say, DNA individuals. This also can be their direct tribe, be it children, but they're referencing an immaturity around a situation. And again, I do feel for some this does link to the past. I don't feel necessarily this is something that is quite new. I just feel there is maybe some gossip flying around and some information. And I just keep hearing the cat's out of the bag. I do feel this next lunation, or rather the lunation energy and the frequency we're currently in. I don't know why I get the scorpionic energy. It does very much feel like something has come out of the bag, and they are making reference to a new chapter. They are making reference to something coming out that is going to actually cause a close of a cycle that actually can make them quite angry. But in the end, it's going to liberate them to know who they directly are connected to. And it's almost like it's freeing them. But they may need to take 5 to get grounded after the fact to actually work on that anger, which is a sense of closure for them. So I don't feel that anger is showing them that they still have feelings. I just feel in a sense they didn't, and they were doing something that they didn't want to do. They may have to look back at something. And it's important, the reason why they're referencing this. It's like they may have to study some paperwork or re-review over what goes down so that they can be in this feeling of being like that cycle being closed, but there's some reference point to having to go back. I want to pull a clarifier on this because they're wanting me to get into to articulate it a bit better. It could be that there's something they need to go over. It could be some paperwork. It might be an old letter. It could be some information, but it's giving them. It feels like it's giving them something. It's a little bit like a tool in the pocket. It's arming them with some resources where they could actually win a circumstance. So yeah, some of them might be getting a letter and something is in that letter, but it shouldn't have been shared. It could be an official document. And this has opened a can of worms. Yeah, it could be to do with a past connection. Oh, God, really? Okay, something that they were thinking of doing that they've delayed on. It's like somebody else is initiating it. So They're not having to do it. They're not, it's done for them. And it actually brings up old things that they'd been avoiding. But universe is like, no, this chapter is necessary to end. This chapter is necessary to have this final closing door. And so maybe if this person was unable to act or deal with the circumstance, and they don't want me to be too fine-tuned into exactly what it is, because the messages are going to land where they're meant to for those that it resonates the most. I feel as though this circumstance, the way it's going to unfold, if divine masculine is unable to achieve a target they wanted to, or, sort of like an action and a response to a circumstance, something else is coming in to resolve that. It could be that they had the best of integrity, but maybe they didn't have the means to do it. This could be something to do with finances. And so another circumstance is kind of bringing a tower in, which is inadvertently aiding divine masculine and actually freeing them. So something is actually going in their favor, but the intent is very much for this to end, especially for those that are completely single at this point in time. This, again, can be something from the past that has just recropped up for a finalization and a wrap up. And it is going to set this person up for a stronger future. And I'm also feeling those in a karmic relationship, some white lies coming out. And I feel as though this energy is building, and I do feel it intensifies as we do reach mid-month. Yeah, I feel for some, they also might want to have a career transition. Again, they're wanting to have a different way of life. They're wanting to have, it's like they're looking at their work and they're looking at work and they're looking at, their spiritual values. And it's like, where's that balance there? This isn't working. So for some, it could be that this has been a real hold up and an issue. For others, I do feel this is to do with a karmic cycle, be it they're with them or they're not. But this information, okay, what's at the heart of this information? Because they're wanting me to go back to that. It's definitely making them angry. But it is surrounding a karmic cycle. Whatever that karmic cycle is. Yes, I'm telling you, I was telling you, Scorpio, Pluto. This is my Pluto card. Something that was hidden in an unfinished business. It's coming up. And, a lot of us can feel whatever does crop up this month. It can be like, oh, heck, why is that happening? But I feel it is for the bigger picture to actually wrap things up extremely aggressively and fast. And it is so this new chapter can come in and we're not dealing with the old. We're not dragging that old circumstance around. I do feel this is going to go in their favour. And I feel the decisions and the logic that they're having associated to their future is very anchored in truth. It's very anchored in what feels authentic for them. And I really don't feel they're wanting to shortchange themselves on this occasion. They do have a lot to say to you, but believe you me, this month in the mix, they're definitely getting a bit more than they bargained for in the context of things coming towards them. There also could be some paperwork in a tricky situation they're needing to address. They do feel divine feminine can have some solutions. I feel it's after the fact that you hear about this, but they are bringing it to you. It's like something happens to them or something they're dealing with, but I do feel for some, they are directly bringing this to you to problem solve. I'm also being shown that there is a text message, maybe that divine feminine sent, or an email, and again, they're studying over it. The reference point to the other circumstances happening, it could be that because of these cycles we've been moving through, they haven't had time to come up for air, and they're trying to get things in order now, and they're actually going to come across these messages, which does feel quite divinely timed, and it does feel as though there is now some legwork and movement happening within the connection. Now, if you do want any of the links, they are all directly below, and you can join waiting list for Sage Inner Circle Network. It is a brand new membership. We have moved as off YouTube, not because we do not like YouTube. We love YouTube. It connects us all together, but more so because of what the membership was able to achieve. So anything down to webinars and blog posts and schedules, and you can join events and add them to your calendar and an interactive chat room, plus the app. So it really has a lot to offer. If you do want to get on the wait list for the round 2, come through and sign up. We do have a landing page for it. So thank you again for joining, and I hope to see you again, and take care. Otherwise, don't forget to look at the other videos that we have and new content that is very shortly, hopefully, coming towards you on YouTube.